Do you know what I think it's missing in the storytelling mediums today? Just a huge load of this. Okay, the agonizing screams of constipation are a bit too much even for a lifelong edge enthusiast like me. But I really miss the grungy angst and edginess that the 90s and early 2000s were drenched in. The game of today's video review almost thoroughly satisfied my needs for that sweet edge, but it also left me wanting for more. The name of the game is Galerians, and it's a classic-style survival horror game in which we play as a 14-year-old psychic power-possessing junkie amnesiac named Rion Steiner. And we're introduced to the boy just as he wakes up strapped onto an over-the-top high-tech bed in some sterile-ass research facility. Upon awakening, Rion makes his life goal to massacre his way out of this facility, and along the way, he, and by extension we, will be drip-fed clues about who Rion is and why was he over there getting penetrated in the first place. The story overall is decent, and I was immediately sucked into its mystery. But things can also get a bit too melodramatic at times, and when you combine that with the amateur hour voice acting that the game's got going on, the quality of the story gets knocked down a peg, but never to the point of making it non-enjoyable. From a gameplay perspective, Galerians is a survival horror game made in the 90s, which means fixed camera angles, paint controls, inventory management, and good old-fashioned puzzle solving. Basically, the game is a streamlined OG Resident Evil clone, where backtracking is greatly reduced, and instead of weapons, we use Rion's brainwaves to force push our enemies to death, set them on fire, which simultaneously liberates their loved ones from cremation taxes, and later on in the game, we'll gain the ability to make the baddies levitate for a while, and then violently smack them against the floor. Cycling through the powers is done by injecting Rion with different types of drugs, or PPECs, as they're referred to in the game's Western releases. You know, because we
think of the children!
And we can even give their deadliness a little boost by consuming a drug called Skip. Using these powers and running for some reason causes Rion's thinking muscle to feel the hurt, and the amount of hurt that he's feeling is represented by this fabulous purple meter. When the meter is filled up to the max, it causes his brain to short, which results in Rion's total loss of control over his powers, and this is not good either for him or his enemies. In Rion's case, it slowly sucks off his health bar, and in the case of his enemies, well, it gives them a severe case of head pop.
Nice.
Shorting is mitigated by, you guessed it, downing another drug called Delmotor, but there's also another drug called Apolinar that fills up the purple bar, enabling you to short instantly, which is very helpful whenever you're getting gangbanged by multiple enemies.
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical.
So yeah, the basic gist of Galerian's gameplay loop is to strategically use uppers and downers, depending on the situation at hand, while appropriately managing your drug stash, since you can only carry a limited amount of them. The few puzzles that are present are pretty straightforward, and the bosses can be beaten with the tried and true strategy of running circles around them and then attacking them when the chance arises to do so. Galerians is a perfectly serviceable, classic survival horror game that doesn't really stand out from its peers in terms of gameplay. Where the game actually shines the brightest is in its stylish audio-visual presentation. You see it, I see it, everybody sees it. Galerians' world has a very appealing, retro-futuristic look to it, and its beauty is even more accentuated thanks to the cinematic camera angles through which we experience it during gameplay. In contrast to the clean sterility of the research facility from the start of the game, the rest of the world is progressively being eaten out by rust and decay, which is an aesthetic that's very much appreciated by yours truly, since it's in accordance with my very own hobo-tastic fashion sensibilities. Speaking of fashion, the eerily off-proportion character designs by Sho Tajima are all worthy of Chef's Kiss, and after finishing the game, I spent countless hours marveling at this man's extensive portfolio. If you appreciated everything that you saw up until now, there's a high chance that your earholes will get some enjoyment too, because the soundtrack is also quite scrumptious. The majority of it is spooky ambient music, but there's also a decent number of industrial techno tracks that I found perfect for my nighttime drinking sessions. That's Galerians for you folks, a perfectly serviceable, classic survival horror game with some truly inspired visual and sound direction. Even though it didn't revolutionize the genre, the game still stands as an obscure cult classic. It even got a short CG anime series that regurgitates the story of the first game. In 2002, it also got a sequel, which I still haven't played to completion as of the time of writing this script, but for now, I'm having a blast with it. Galerians was a short-lived franchise that never truly fulfilled its potential. But if your sensibilities are similar to mine, Galerians is the perfect fix for you. Thank you guys for watching, and if I manage to make another video, I hope I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day!